Did we do a transfer, like Peter's stipend and my stipend to the Parks and Recreation?
No, it was appropriated for the Board of Selectmen, so it's going to be split.
I'm talking to, what's?
We have to split it.
Igor.
Your board has to. We have to split it.
All right, we're going to get
Can we do
going.
it tonight?
I splitting it.
We're gonna,
See,
are we adjourned?
Good evening.
Thanks.
The chair will call the meeting to order at 6:30. The first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The chair recognizes the town administrator.
Evening, board members. I'd just like to ask the board take out of sequence recognition of Selectman Fox as being his last meeting. Selectman Fox, a pleasure to see you this evening.
You're not running again?
And then we'll get back to regular business if the board will allow that to happen.
Without objection.
Turn it over to you.
Mr. Sullivan.
Mr. Chair, I was given the honor of reading a proclamation. I'm not sure who the author was, but I'll read it, and if anybody wants to take credit for it, they can. It's entitled An Ode to Peter. There once was a selectman named Fox who always thought outside of the box. His efforts were great, his common sense was delightful. Some issues he faced were downright frightful. So, now no more Monday night meetings pondering the law. He might plan a trip to St. Lucia or Australia, a cruise to Panama. Kayaking and fun will be on his agenda, just relaxing and enjoying life in all of its splendor. Thank you, Peter, for your time, talents, and your reasoning so fair. You will be missed, a class act, a great guy that is all too rare.
JT. You're screwing up my agenda here.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I just want you to know that I have to admit that I didn't write that.
It was too kind.
It was too kind.
The chair recognizes Representative Durant. Also, Representative Campanelli. Come on up. It's from the House. Come on up.
It's the House citation.
Come on up.
You've got two representatives and a senator.
Peter, did you get a haircut?
I did. You like it?
Looks good.
See, now I decided to go shorter. Yeah. Makes me look really young. All right. So I just want to take the opportunity to congratulate you, Peter, on your service to this town. You know, as you and many know, I've only get to know you for a few years, and in those few years, I can see your dedication and just the love that you have for this community. It shines through in everything that you do, and I'm proud to say that I know you, and I'm proud to be your friend. I was able to bring a resolution from the House of Representatives that I could not have gotten passed through the House without the works of Representative Campanelli here, because she's got much more than I have.
Clearly.
She gets stuff done. If you need something done, it's just the way it works. But I have a resolution that was read into the House meeting minutes, so you will always be there, memorialized for all times. It says, and I'm going to need these before I do this. It's a resolution congratulating Peter Fox on the occasion of his retirement from the Dudley Board of Selectmen. Whereas the esteemed Peter Fox celebrates his retirement after more than 24 years of exceptional and selfless service to the town of Dudley. And whereas Peter Fox has served as a respected and distinguished leader promoting economic development and growth in the town of Dudley. And whereas Peter Fox has devoted his time to numerous boards, including the Finance, Advisory, and Appropriations Committee, the Capital Improvement Committee, the Personnel Board, and the Board of Selectmen. And whereas Peter Fox has worked tirelessly to improve the quality of life for the residents of the town of Dudley, therefore be it resolved that the Massachusetts House of Representatives hereby congratulates Peter Fox on the occasion of his retirement It further extends to him its sincere best wishes for continued success in all of his future endeavors, and be it further resolved that a copy of these resolutions have been forwarded to the Clerk of the House of Representatives and to Peter Fox. It was adopted by the House on May 15th, signed by the Speaker of the House, Robert DeLeo, the Clerk of the House, Stephen James, and yours truly, Representative Peter.
All right.
Congratulations, Peter.
Thank you, Ben. Great job. Thanks, Peter. Great. Did we get it?
And also, Mr. Chairman, just to introduce Tyler Spencer from Senator Fatman's office is here to present as well.
Mr. Spencer.
Good evening, everyone. So again, my name's Tyler. I'm a legislative aide for Senator Fatman, and I was first introduced to you guys about a month ago. So it's a pleasure to be back addressing you guys today. So I'm here again for Selectman Fox. Congratulations for 20 years of dedicated service. And there are 351 towns in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and each one has a unique community that's developed in it. And within each of those communities, there's communities, not committees. In each of those communities, there are staples that are developed to that community. And based on what I've heard from Representative Durant, and I had a conversation with Senator Fatman earlier, based on what I heard from both of them, you are obviously a staple to this Dudley community, and we appreciate all the hard work that you have done here in Dudley.
Thank you.
So
Thank you so much.
I have a citation from the Massachusetts State Senate, and it reads, "Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Peter Fox in recognition of your 20 years of service to the town of Dudley. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends its best wishes for continued success, that this citation be signed only by the President of the Senate and attested to, and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate. By Stanley C. Rosenberg, President of the Senate, attested by William Welch, Clerk of the Senate, and offered by your Senator, Brian Fatman."
Yeah. Wait. Thank you for your
Thank you so
thank
much.
you for your help.
Thanks very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representatives.
Wow. Embarrassed. Good.
Mr. Marcy.
But wait, there's more. So the chairman had asked me to say a few words. A couple years ago, Peter, you and I and Al had a nice little election, the great special election of 2011.
I remember
And
it.
I remember it well. It was then I really got to know you as a person, and what if someone like you means to the town of Dudley, and what it means to really serve, and to just be a part of a community, being selfless with your time and your efforts to bring your knowledge forth to every committee, every team that you've touched. So I learned that when I ran, and honestly, then I really knew I didn't have a chance that time. So if we all think about it, but
We had a much bigger budget, right?
he may have. No, we didn't. But well, the other thing I wanted to say was, this board has been remarkably stable. I think I'm still the last person that's joined the board 5 years ago, and I think that says something for all of you, including you, Peter. You are a steady hand to help guide us. You're here when we can't be here. We're up doing other things. You're here making sure that the lights stay on, and people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and making sure what the board said will happen happens. And that's all you. And I just think this board will not be the same without you. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. just having, going on and new boards and stuff, but what this was special. Even Paul would agree.
Yep, absolutely.
And it was just nice to be able to know that when we can disagree here at this table, but when we go, out, it's forgotten, and we go on about our day, right? Because we all respect each other like that. So I just want to say those things. So I've learned a lot from you. Just how you carry yourself, how you present yourself, how you just do these things without thought of yourself.
Thank you.
And I'm very, 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 very honored to be able to give your final award of the evening.
We think.
From the town. You're gonna get a key to the city, Peter.
Wow.
And I can't think of anyone else who deserves this more than you, after all you've done for 20 years. And for each one of us here and the residents of Dudley. And I thank you, Peter. I should have read it first. On the behalf of the citizens of Dudley, Massachusetts, the Dudley Board of Selectmen is honored to present Peter E. Fox with the key to the town in recognition of his leadership and faithful service to the community, June 5th, 2017. Jonathan J. Ruda, Chairman, John J. Marcy, Vice Chairman, Stephen P. Sullivan, Clerk, and Paul M. Joseph.
Thank you so much.
Well deserved, my friend.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Sullivan.
I can honestly say Peter Fox was very instrumental to me getting involved, and some people may rue that day, but I like to think
Especially
Peter,
you.
especially me, I'd have to say outside of my family, Peter Fox was my biggest backer. And years ago when I first got elected, I kept saying to Peter, we need you to come to the big board. No. And I can't tell you how happy I was when he decided to run. Peter has donated, I said it before, I'll say it again, countless hours to the town, basically for no compensation. He's there at every meeting. We're going to have to replace him again tonight on the Southern County Dispatch Board. Peter Fox has been a friend to everybody in his town, but I can honestly say Peter Fox has been a great friend of mine for over 20 years. I wish you nothing but the best, Pete.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Joseph.
I've got two things to say, two sentences. Peter Fox is a class act. I'm going to miss him a lot as a friend and as a fellow selectman.
Okay, so there's not, it's just about all been said, except for one thing. When Peter was first elected, he was filling a vacancy that was created on the board. It was a selectman had died in office, and when he and I originally had our first conversations, we spoke about what big shoes he had to fill. I think the burden is on your predecessor, Peter.
Thank you.
You definitely filled those shoes and then some.
Thank you.
Without objection, I'd like to ask Peter Fox to chair the rest of the regular agenda for tonight.
Wow. Thank you. I would just like to make a comment before I start. It has been an honor and a privilege to have served the town of Dudley. It's been an honor and privilege to serve and work with my fellow board members. Dudley is such a special town because it has special people, department heads, town employees, all the people that make everything happen and click. A wonderful administrator, and I also want to give a very, very special thanks to Michelle. She holds us all together, and she deserves most of the credit. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's all yours.
Okay, item number 2.
Slide into the middle.
The middle seat, Peter.
the middle.
Move over.
Really moving up, aren't I? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 2, minutes of May 22nd, 2017. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the minutes of May 22nd, 2017 as written.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 3, appointments and resignation. Fire Department, full-time firefighter, Maria Soja, effective July 3rd, 2017. Chief?
Mr. Chairman, I'm sure all of you got the memo I sent out about 3 weeks ago. Captain David Konechny submitted his retirement, and his last day is June 17th of this year, officially. He served the town well for many years, and he'll be recognized for his accomplishments at a date in the near future. But that being said, we gave a testing process because we knew this day was coming. It started back in April with a 2-part written exam, and in early May we did a oral board testing with outside chiefs and a couple inside officers. We had 3 internal candidates. Maria ended up finishing first on the list. A little background on her: she came to me 2 years ago. Was interested in getting on the call department. She ended up finishing number 1 in the class overall in the Call Volunteer Academy, and I'm sure she'll do just as well at the full-time academy. In the last 2 years, she's been a very dedicated member of this department. She's done really well. All the people on the department get along well with her, and I think she's going to be an excellent fit for to fill the full-time position that's been vacant for a while now.
Okay, Maria, would you like to make some comments?
First of all, I'd like to thank my chief, and I'd like to thank you all for your time today. I just want to say this is a privilege to be a part of this town. I grew up in this town. I graduated from Shepherd Hill and Nichols College, and to be able to continue to contribute would be amazing.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, without no further ado, unless board members have questions, I'd like to make a motion based upon the chief's recommendation that we appoint Maria Soja, full-time firefighter, paramedic, effective July 3rd, 2017.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Welcome aboard.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Welcome. Congratulations, Maria.
Congratulations. Best of luck.
Taking your picture.
Welcome, Maria. My KJ is a finance Webster. Good to see you up there.
Okay, item number 4. Any public comments or citizens' comments for anything that is not scheduled on the agenda tonight? Seeing none, we'll move to item number 5, Town Administrator's Report.
Hello, Peter. Hello, board members. A couple of updates. We have authorized some engineering work on our dams. Phase 1 assessment of the Carpenter Pond and Lower Gore Pond dams. I had previously reported to the board that we're under obligation through the State Office of Conservation Resources to periodically review and inspect the dams, and so the cost of the work is $10,800 and the budget is $11,700. So we will proceed with the work, and it's likely that there'll be a more substantial request for funding at the fall town meeting, an amount to be determined, but nevertheless, we're complying with the state is requiring of us at this point. The other item that I have to report on is we've got some municipal property that we are readying to auction off for sale, and there are 4 parcels. Hand that out. Typically, the board has asked in the past that we review parcels of property to sell off. And so there are 4 that have been identified that the town can sell. They're surplus property that have been taken for back taxes. So there's no need for a vote of town meeting. It's strictly the treasurer would dispose of them through an auction, and the board would need to approve the sale. The first parcel is on Corbin Road, opposite the Corbin Cemetery, 2.3 acres, and there's a small abandoned house that's on the property. The second parcel is on Pineview Road. It consists of 16,385 square feet, and it is adjacent to water and sewer services. The third parcel is on McQuaid Street, 5,500 square feet. And just for purposes of knowing where it is, it's immediately just opposite Rite Aid as you look at it. And then the fourth parcel is consisting of 27,450 square feet on Dresser Hill Road, and it's a small piece that's sandwiched between 2 pieces of private property. So unless the board has any issues or problems, we'd like to proceed with the sale. It takes us about 6 to 8 weeks to prepare these properties and get them advertised and get someone in to actually conduct the sale on behalf of the town.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
A couple of questions about, is it on McQuaid Street, Greg, is there sufficient frontage? Is that a buildable lot?
It's 85 feet of frontage on that
No.
parcel.
What is it, 100-foot
100
minimum?
foot, right, so if
Okay.
it can be sold to an adjacent property owner, so they could combine it with an existing property.
Okay. How about the, was it Pine View that you said?
Yeah, so Pine View is 145 feet of frontage.
What's the square footage on Pine View?
16,386 square feet.
16,386. So about a third of an acre?
Right, it's a buildable lot to the extent that it passes all the requirements that may be put on it by town board.
Okay. Is the intent, I'm sorry, you had the floor.
No, is it towns, you mentioned town, near town services, was that on Pine View?
Pine View is on town services,
Town service?
correct.
Okay. And do we know if the Corbin Road property, that looks like it has sufficient frontage? Does it?
Yeah, it's,
254? No, that's the back end. Is it, has that been perked, do we know? Is it a buildable lot?
it's high and dry.
It's high and
I've been
dry?
out there and walked around, and there should be absolutely no issues with it being sold.
Okay. That's all the questions I had.
Most people who've been by don't even know there's a home that's there.
Okay, Mr. Joseph?
Mr. Chairman, is it the intent to offer the Corbin Road and Pine View Road properties at open, absolute public outcry auctions, and the parcel on McQuaid Street and the small sliver on whatever the hell road that is?
Dresser Hill.
It doesn't look like it's got a frontage on Dresser Hill.
Yeah, it's got a small, I'm sorry, it's, yeah, it is on Dresser Hill. The road that you see in the back is number 2. Dresser Hill number 2.
What's the total acreage?
It's 27,450 square feet, but it doesn't have adequate frontage.
Is
It's
it
got
the-
about 82 feet of frontage.
1,400. Is it the intent to sell the last 2 by sealed bid?
That's the intent, Paul, and as you stated, the upfront is the lots that are buildable. We intend to seek the maximum amount of money we can.
Okay, and the reason I ask those questions to the board is that the open public outcry bidding on buildable lots is likely to yield significant sales price, whereas the lots on McQuaid Street and whatever the heck street that is, that triangle, by doing it with sealed bid, only those people who would have an interest in purchasing an unbuildable lot would build. And the town reserves the right, under a sealed bid, to not accept one or both of the bids, and to offer it for sale at another time or in another manner. All right, because they're non-buildable, that's the way I would go on them.
And that would be my recommendation, Paul, exactly as you've stated it.
Okay, Mr. Sullivan.
Mr. Chair, and also, I think we have to be careful, because this came up before on a previous lot several years back. If we use terms as such as buildable or should be no issue to perk, unless we're gonna do the due diligence as a town. The people that are interested in these lots have to do their diligence. They have to,
Like as is.
right, as is, unless,
The onus is on them.
right, unless we, as a board, decided to perk, like we did that lot on Tracy Road. I think the town actually did the perk to increase the value. So unless that would interest us to do a perk test, just, it's gotta be due diligence, buyer beware. The town, I mean, Rich will handle all the phraseology, and I'm sure the auctioneer will be done professionally. We just don't wanna give any perception that we're saying that these facts are true, that it may not be in evidence.
But the language, and I'm assuming that Rich will solicit bids from auctioneers. But experienced auctioneers like Zikos, who did our last auctions, knows that the language has to go into the announcement that says that the town makes no guarantees or no warranties, implied or expressed. And that means that the land is bought at the owner's, at the buyer's risk. And if they want to have it tested beforehand, they can do so.
That's it, Paul. And you mentioned about the experienced auctioneer, that's exactly the direction that we would go.
Yeah.
But we would not allow, Mr. Chair, we would not allow perk testing by a private.
No, because they end up with a mess where the property's dug up here, there, and
Three or
everywhere.
four people might want to do this, that, and the other thing. I mean, unless we did it, I said, Rich, I'm sure Rich is going to handle it well, and I know that, I'm pretty sure it was a Tracy Road piece. We perked it as a town to make sure it was buildable. I think weren't you involved, and you said a backhoe up that Tracy Road, you know which piece I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't recall doing a perk test there.
I remember Tom Purcell did it
There
on
was
behalf
one
of
that
the
we
town.
sold that had ledge in it, and the people wanted their money back, but they didn't get it because they thought that we had said that it was
Right,
a buildable lot, and I think we may have used that terminology and should not have.
right. Just gotta be careful how we
Yeah,
We won't
that's
make that
really,
mistake.
really good point.
Right, so Mike, the only reason I brought that up was just so we get a kind of a baseline value of the lots, something with adequate frontage versus something without. Obviously, there's a significant difference in value.
Correct.
so,
I mean, Mr. Chair, that may be
just in terms
something
of how to proceed.
we may want to check with the town treasurer before we auction it, Mr. Chair. Maybe a perk test might, as Mr. Ruder just said, would really increase the value if we can prove it's perkable. If it's something we want to get involved in, if not,
Let's, maybe, Mr. Chair, will we see what the bid packages look like, what he puts together? I mean, it's gotta be
Right.
some sort of a, not a glossy, but something that,
I don't know, right,
present.
like Paul said, the terminology will be specific.
well, yeah, if we could not proofread, but see what he's got for writing.
So I would ask of the board is for the board to declare as surplus and authorize the auctioning of 4 parcels of land, again, as depicted here, Corbin Road, Pineview Road, McQuaid Street, and Dresser Hill, for the purposes of sale.
So moved.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, based on the administrator's recommendation, so moved and seconded by Mr. Marcy.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The other item that I have is the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission has its annual dinner this coming Thursday evening at 5:30. And Dudley is due to receive the Community Development and Planning Partner Award. So I am unable to attend, but if anyone else, either board members or anyone that's listening, can be present, I'd be happy to make the arrangements and throw them my tickets to the,
What is the date of that?
this will be Thursday, this coming Thursday,
The date?
the 8th.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to move that, since the chairman will still be on the board at that time, that he represent the town of Dudley at that event.
Second.
Maybe he'll be on a slow
Wait.
boat to nowhere,
The
but
motion's been made and seconded.
I hope.
No, thank
The
you.
Oh,
event,
John Massey.
the event is
discussion.
in Sutton.
No, you got to go.
Sutton is where the event is. And if someone,
Is it Pleasant Valley?
no, Blackstone.
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 I'd love to go, but I can't make 5. I hope I can't make it for 5.
5:30, 5:30. And,
You're cutting it close.
I just want to also thank Mr. Fox for his, being a supporter of good government, nonpartisan government without an R or a D either before or after his name. You've been a friend of Dudley, friend of good government. You work selflessly to help others. You've always been the first one to volunteer to put your hand up to attend a meeting. You've been the first one to dig into your pocket when it comes time to make a donation for a worthy cause. You're always there. You're never late. You're a man of your word. It's been a pleasure to work with you. I can speak on behalf of the employees. We will miss you.
Thank you
We
so
will miss
very
your
much.
frequent visits to town hall. Where you brightened even the most cloudy, cold June day. And I wish you well. And if you're ever bored, there are plenty of opportunities to step forward as an appointee of the town. And we look forward to having you come forward in that capacity.
Thank you for your kind words. Thank you.
That's great.
I still think you ought to go. The motion was made and seconded.
He's got to call up to a vote, and I don't see that
I
happening.
don't see that.
Okay, anything else, Greg?
That's it, thank you.
Okay. Item number 6, around town. Nobody scheduled tonight, no public hearings. Item number 7. Item number 8, public business. Number A, South Worcester County Communications Center Board of Directors appointment.
So Peter, you've served as the representative of the Board of Selectmen. The Board of Directors consists of a selectman or their designee and the town administrator, and you'll be leaving the board. So the question of the board is whether they would like to fill that position with a member of the board. The meetings are held on Thursdays at 10 a.m. So it's always the third Thursday of the month at 10 a.m. in Webster, and I'm the chairman of the board. So we desperately need someone from the town of Dudley to step forward.
Mr. Chairman, I would ask that we table this until the election next week, and we reorganize, and then to put it back on the, when we table, it automatically comes up at the next meeting.
Mr. Chair, I also would suggest maybe we can advertise it on public access in case the select member can't take that role. I know it's going to be hard for me. If we can get a member from the public, as Greg said, we can have a designee.
I thought it had to
Doesn't
be
have
a
to be selectman.
selectman.
has to be,
Or designee, I thought.
The designee can be the second person.
so I serve as the alternate right now, but it doesn't have to be a selectman.
Right,
So
the alternate does not have to be
Oh,
a
okay,
selectman.
all right, I'm sorry. I know, I'm not going to be able to do it. I can't make 10 o'clock.
Any objections to tabling?
Nope.
Greg?
It's the right thing to do.
None
Okay.
whatsoever.
Then we'll table it till the next meeting. Item B, James Dunn, permission to hold...
Jamie?
Jamie, excuse me. Jamie Dunn, permission to hold a 5K race for a nonprofit organization, Rise Above, on Saturday, October 1st, 2017, beginning and ending at the town beach.
Come on up, Jamie.
Come on up, Jamie.
I'm Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
I'm here to request permission to use the roads starting at the beach. and
Could you
Saturday.
speak up into the mic, please?
Yep. And it's for Sunday, October 1st. It's for the nonprofit Rise Above, which I became familiar with when I started working for the Department of Children and Families 4 years ago. They help foster kids, and they raise money all year for foster kids to hopefully live more of a normal life that other kids get to have and have the same opportunities. So I was born and raised in Dudley, and I'm hoping to run this here and get the community together.
Okay, and what time does it start?
I don't have that set yet, but I could say around 9 a.m.
Okay, and have you contacted the police department?
We left each other a couple of voicemails back and forth.
Okay.
But Michelle, you've given her the prior routes for the 5K, so she's got all that, and Chief? Okay.
And medical coverage?
We usually
Dean,
require.
can we vote? Well,
Usually-
first, let me ask a question, all right? Does that office, South Central? Hi, Jamie.
Hi.
I remember her from high school, and before that,
You look a lot
soccer.
older than her.
Yeah.
Soccer. She played,
must have
she and
stayed back a
KJ
couple
played
of years.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
My old mail room.
Oh. Does that office also serve any foster children in the town of Dudley?
They do.
That's all I need to know. Chief, can we, okay.
I did. Yes.
you'll be all set, we'll have something
Okay. Thank you.
Just follow up with you
Perfect.
Make them come to the table, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Now, I'd like to make a motion. Did I ever coach you?
I think when I was really young, yeah.
Yeah, I did, and you still turned out okay?
Yeah.
Wow.
Only because of you.
Barely.
Oh, boy, she knows. She's got the notes. 1-0, Mr. Joseph runs the table. All right. Line nut finds a squirrel.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to move that we grant Rise Above Foundation through Jamie Dunn, a former resident of Dudley and still at heart a resident of Dudley, to hold a 5K road race on Saturday, October 1st, beginning and ending at the Dudley Town Beach, and that she coordinate her efforts through Chief Warner and Chief Kokonowski.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Just one condition, Mr. Chair. You have to make your father walk the course.
He did tell me he was going to run.
Run?
I,
I might come.
yeah, all right.
I'd come to see that.
Yeah.
That's what
I
I'm
really
saying.
would.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries. Good luck.
Tell him I was only kidding.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Item number C, Bridget Ebling, South County Pop Warner Football and Cheer, permission to hold a toll booth on Saturday, July 22nd, 2017, from 9 to noon at the town line.
We get anything set up, any more set up at this time?
I'll bring any support staff
Joe.
with you.
That for you. I have it here.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm
Good
Bridget
evening.
Ebling. I'm the cheer coordinator with South County Pop Warner. Harry Gordon, treasurer, South County. And we're asking to do a toll booth on July 22nd from 9 to noon at the town line of Webster and Dudley to raise funds for some much-needed uniforms and equipment for our football and cheerleading organization. We're a nonprofit that serve towns including Dudley, Webster, and some other local towns as well.
That was not checked.
Mr. Marcy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You guys did this last year too, right?
We didn't do it last year, but we have done it in years past.
Okay, all right. And recently, I remember, at least not that recently, I remember you guys being here before. And Michelle, do we have
No.
nothing around either? Oh, there it is.
Nothing.
Way around it. Okay, I'm good.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Sullivan.
I mean, obviously, the police chief will coordinate with you, but I think in the past, it's adults only. If there's kids there, they have to be in that parking lot or...
Yes. Yeah, we've always had the children stay on the sidewalks
Yeah,
up
on either
against.
side.
It was the building, but now that the building's gone, they'll be up against the wall and they just make signs
right.
and hold signs.
I have no problem, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Brewer, anything?
Sounds good to me.
Make a motion, Mr. Chair, that we grant the request of South County Pop Warner Football and Cheer to do a toll booth on Saturday, July 22nd, 2017, from 9 to noon, and I will ask if they will want a rain date at this time, just in case.
Do I have a second?
We haven't discussed that, but possibly the weekend after, if it's open, would probably be. what
Mr.
we
Chair, with a rain date of July 29, 2017.
It is open.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Good luck.
would.
Thank you, guys. Good luck.
Item number D, Baker Pond Boat Ramp Update.
Board members, I met with the representatives from Baker Pond a couple weeks ago, and they reasserted their interest in allowing the boat ramp to be blocked off. As you recall from the previous discussions with the board, there was a question about invasive weed species being introduced to the pond by boats that were being trailered in and out. The intent would be to limit the larger power boats. There's no intention to limit kayaks, canoes, and smaller recreational boats that could be lifted or carried into the water. And I noticed that the gentleman from the Baker Pond Association is here, and I asked him to come in so that the board could consider his request. We're getting very close to the time of year where the weeds are out there, and I know they've got some concerns, so I'd ask them to come forward. With your permission.
Gentlemen.
Good evening.
I can.
How are you? Ken Brackley, President, Baker Pond Association. We've discussed this with the board previously. I met with Greg, thank you very much, sir, and discussed it a little bit further. As a board, we receive nothing for what we do. We do this for the waterways, is why we do this. We're not trying to do this to ban anyone. That's not the point. The point is weed control. We foot the bill entirely from donations, which unfortunately you cannot get even 50% of your population on the lake to donate. It's human nature. I wish it wasn't, but it is. We spend more on weed control than we get in donations. Last year in particular was very bad because of the famine. And at that pace, we can't maintain the beauty of the pond. Your Conservation Commission has a parcel there, which the boat ramp is on. They think enough of it to put, they want to do trails over there, and that's fantastic. The parcel in question just is the boat ramp itself. The board, although we don't have a lot of money, we would take and foot the bill for the gate if the town would be good enough to supply the labor to install it. As far as emergency access goes, because things do happen, knock on wood, we've never had any incidents, but if something were to happen, somebody needs to be able to get into the gate. And whereas the pond is in two different towns, logistically creates a bigger problem because there's two towns involved. Charlton has no public boat ramp. The only access is through Dudley. And this parcel, when it was donated, the boat ramp was intended to stay natural with no upgrades, but over the course of time, things happen. I have no details on paving or anything like that. It's a moot point. All we would like to do is just restrict the larger boat access for the summer months. We'd like to be able to have it so that anyone can use it for a couple of weekends in like late April, a couple of weekends at the end of September, early October. These are weekends that, say, lake residents wanted to get out, they can get out. Anyone wants to come and fish, come and fish. And it's the issue is that the Gore Pond section of the pond, it's worldly known as Baker Pond, but that one little cove section and over into Dudley is known as Gore Pond. That particular piece is where the fan ward started from. And as the boats come in and they launch, these weeds grow fast and they propagate quickly. When they propagate, the boats go through, they drag them into the main pond. Things to worry about as well, South Charlton Res is downstream, the dam you spoke of earlier. These propagated plants go over that dam, they go downstream, now you have another pond that's going to be infested. The state in itself, there are no grants available. The towns offer no support. So the only way that people can control anything like this is expensive treatments. You can't maintain in this direction. It's just not going to happen. You can't do it. I know, Mr. Mars, you threw out some ideas for us, but they're not even a drop in a bucket compared to what you need. It's thousands
Yeah.
for weed control.
Definitely
$1,000 an acre. and that's fast. Oh man, is it fast. In the course of 3 years, we had to treat, well, we didn't have, we had to treat, but in the course of 3 years, I would say we got 8 acres of fanwort in 3 years. And we don't have a lot of boat traffic. Not like we've got like people running down trying to just come in, but it doesn't take much. One prop go through there, drag it out, wind blows it down, and it just keeps growing. We'd just like to limit the access. Police departments and emergency personnel in both towns to have the keys, of course. Highway department, I guess, if they want one too, that's whoever. Whoever the board would deem fit. The Baker Pond Association in itself, we don't need to be a keeper of a key. That's not why we're doing this. I mean, this is why we'd rather have the town be the keeper of the key in a thing. Because now it's not, we're not trying to be favoritism. It's not what we're trying to do. We just want this to control and keep a good environment for everyone. The town of Dudley, the town of Charlton, for future generations, not just us. Because otherwise it's going to turn into a swamp. Although there are deep enough sections out in the pond, it won't get affected, but it's going to shrink this pond something fierce. And the Gore Pond section by the dam that you guys talk about, you're going to repair the dam, that's just going to be one big pile of weeds, and it's going to be
Can I ask some
nasty.
questions?
Yes. Mr. Joseph?
All right. How many active homes on the pond?
There are 82.
82. How many of them are in Dudley? How many in Charlton?
That's a number I cannot give you accurately. I'm not certain
Okay.
of that. I would have to say the majority are probably in Charlton, but that's only speculation. I don't have an exact number.
Okay, I'd like to see those numbers, all right, before I take a vote on anything. How do you propose to limit access?
That would be the gate,
And the gate would be locked?
yes.
Would that actually and actively prohibit boats from being launched?
Only the larger boats. It'd be a gate that you could still get little John boats under, canoes, kayaks, no issues, you know. We're not, like I said, we're not trying to.
Okay. What percentage of the 82 homes currently contribute to the association
There are-
financially?
There are only 32 homes that contribute financially.
So 32 out of 82,
Mhm.
about 36%.
Yes.
Any idea why the other 50 don't?
Can't answer that. Human nature, I don't know.
It's not human nature.
No, it's the same way on my leg, Paul, through the chair.
It's-
It's bad.
It's sad, and you know, you would
It's
think
not
otherwise.
human nature.
You would think otherwise.
No,
but
not
it's
human nature, but
All right,
there's some people won't.
Okay. You know what? Here's just my own thinking. I'd like to know the breakdown of Dudley and Charlton, number one. Number two, I'd like to come up with a compromise where if you reach a certain percentage that we can agree on of the total number of homesteads on the lake that contribute, that will allow you to treat more of these invasive weeds. And then B, that would make it more sense to prohibit other boats from coming in, because you're going to eliminate and continue to prohibit or continue to discourage. So I'd like to see those numbers. Let's find out how many are in each one. Let's talk about the possibility of urging them to get a higher percentage, and if they reach that, then let's see what we can do in terms of blocking it off and taking responsibility for enforcing it.
Okay. Mr. Sullivan?
You know, Mr. Chair, Ken brought up a good point, and I'd like to ask Chief Kochanowski. Obviously, the access is in Dudley. The majority of the pond is in Charlton, and we obviously don't have a Navy in Dudley. If there was a problem out on the pond on the Charlton side, would Dudley be required to be the one that responds? Because,
Not on the Charlton side.
no, if they're in the water on the Charlton side, we had to go through Dudley's boat ramp.
Charlton would have to access,
We need to give them a key.
through Dudley to get to Charlton, unless they want
Somehow on the other side, I don't know.
Good question.
I can't, I'm sorry. I can't imagine that either department would refuse to come based on where the hell the accident was, in whose portion of the lake.
That's not what I'm saying. We're talking about restricting access on the Dudley side, and we're talking about keys, and obviously the easy answer is give a key to Charlton.
Simple solution, if we have to give them a key, we give them a key.
But I do have to be, I like Paul's idea about, let's look into percentages, but I also gotta be upfront, Ken. I'm not a big fan of totally restricting access to I know it's a privately owned pond, but we have a boat ramp. I'm gonna phrase it right. I'm not 100% sold yet on putting up a locked gate. How's that?
Let me close, my last statement is this, I'm all done. I'm willing to help those who are willing to help themselves. And if you think 36% is helping yourselves, I disagree. You get over 50%, and that tells me that more than half the people want the help, and then I think we should talk, but not until then. I'm not setting a specific percentage, I'm just saying that's my logic, I'm sorry.
Okay, Mr. Marcy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Ken, is this a little different than the last time you were here when we were just basically talking about access?
No, it's
Just
basically, basically the same thing.
Okay, so
I mean,
it hasn't changed a little bit? It sounded a
We're
little
not-
different about the dates and stuff
Well,
like that.
we're trying to be realistic about this.
Okay.
We're not, and we're not big fans of this either. This is financial. It's very expensive to do what we do, and we get nothing out of it. It's just, we just do this because we like to keep it low the way it is.
Right.
And I understand your thinking, sir, as far as like, get 50%, but people, and I said human nature, I don't know why. They feel they shouldn't have to do things. People don't like paying taxes. They feel they pay taxes. Why don't my taxes take care of it? Well, that's not the town of Dudley's problem. They don't understand that. To convince those that don't donate, you've got hardcore old school. They just will not. You can't, and I think Mr. Marcy understands, but to
do.
put it into words is a little difficult. It's just, this is how
It's
people
basically,
are.
we did this, not similar,
It's tough.
same function, different application, and it was, why should I pay for someone else to benefit for something that I pay for?
Well, that's what a commonwealth is.
Right, I get it.
definition.
I did
It's
it,
tough.
but
It's
but
tough.
getting other people past that, and it was usually the people who've been there the longest, and
Yep.
it's always been like this, and so I get that. I get that. But Paul, it does make a good point, but, so I had a question on that. I mean, do you guys send out mailers or something, go
We
door to
send
door
out,
once a year, or?
Oh, good Lord, we send out mailers every year. We have email addresses, we send out twice a year. We send out one newsletter every year describing everything we do for weed treatments and what we spend for weed treatments. We're a very open book.
Do you, well, to that point, do you have a lake meeting once a year or so?
Yes,
that-
we actually have more than one. We have a general meeting, and we also have what we call a pond social,
Okay.
which we try to get people to come to. And even the general meeting is for everyone, and everyone gets the email, everybody gets a letter.
Do you ever get the people who don't pay their dues?
No, you do not.
Okay.
Those are the ones that don't come.
It's
The only
never,
ones-
never, right?
The ones that come are the
Yeah, I
ones
don't
that
go.
pay their dues, or are the board members. Those are, anyone else, they're like pulling teeth.
You know what, that's not acceptable to me. Any politician will tell you the way to get elected is to go door to door. Knock on the door, introduce yourself, and talk to people. Not
Understand.
mailers. Postcards don't always work. Our federal representatives send out flyers all the time, as do our state legislators. A good number of them end up. It's not acceptable to me that 32 out of 82 are willing to pay, and that you think that's the end of the road. It's not the end of the road.
I
You gotta-
never
you gotta
said
get
it
out
was
there
the
and
end of
do
the
it.
road, sir.
You gotta get out there and do it.
Never said it was the end of the road.
Mr. Rudolph.
Does the town administrator have a recommendation?
Yeah, I actually thought that the time is ticking.
It's ticking.
So what would be the implications in your judgment if it were to be delayed another year?
Another year, we probably have an acre of fan work, at least.
I'd like to try to help them this year somehow. But they've gotta we got to compromise.
I guess I don't have a good idea of if you were to drive down by the boat ramp on a typical Saturday in July, how many boats are we typically, how many trailers are we typically talking about?
Probably see 6 to 8 trailers, I'd say.
Not a lot.
Well, it doesn't take a lot. That's the point. I mean, it's not like you're shutting off Webster Lake. That's not what this is. It's not that many
Small.
people that go. It's very small.
Right, so the only ones that would be using it are people that are engaged in fishing? There's no beaches?
That's the
or
only thing. That's the only
no
reason.
boating there?
No, the only reason you would go here is because you want to go out and you want to see some wildlife. You want to cast a few, catch some fish. This is why people go here. They don't go here because they're looking to water ski. They're not
That's
looking here to
pretty
get their
fun. Yeah.
jet skis. They're not out there with their power boats. That's not the point. They're out there fishing. That's what they're doing. That's why having limited it to john boats, to kayaks, to canoes, guys with trolling motors, things like that. Those guys aren't the problem. You get the guys with your 100-horse Johnson on the back of your little bass boat, and you want to truck across the other side of the pond in 20 seconds. That's the only thing we're trying to keep down, because those are the ones that are chopping up all the weeds and bringing them out into the main pond and creating the problem.
Peter, have we thought about limiting the size of the motor?
I think they have that already, don't you?
They may have it, but that doesn't hold the weight of anything.
That's a state thing, Paul.
Then
That
Is there a limit?
There isn't a limit on the pond, no.
No?
No.
it becomes enforcement, though. Who's going to go out?
You know what, let's
Enforceable, but
no,
let's do more things.
if I remember, if you look at it midsummer, from the boat ramp out to the main pond, there's a 20-foot wide.
Probably not even 20 feet. It's probably, in some places, 10
It's pretty
feet
thick.
wide. It's very thin. All you see, if you were to come up to the boat ramp, let's just say in the middle of July, and you look out there, pretty much the only thing you're gonna see is a little open water around by where the dam is, and then it channels right down to a narrow strip in some places like 10 feet wide that lead out to the main pond.
Okay, the only question I have is, you talked about that your association was gonna pay for material, but you want the town of Dudley to provide the labor,
Sir?
and we don't know what those costs are.
Well, the cost of the gates, ranging from different ones we've looked at, range from anywhere to like $500 to about $1,500.
Okay, what? I'm sorry, Mr. Ruda.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to, what's the largest size boat that a resident owns on that lake?
Boat or motor?
Well, motor.
Probably 75 horse, maybe? No?
Hey, Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna make a motion. I'm gonna at least give us something to chew on, and the discussion can continue. I'm gonna move that we table this pending receipt of a recommendation and studies by the town administrator regarding what kind of compromise would be appropriate in terms of the number of people that would contribute to the association, and a report, and part of the administrator's report would be a report from Danny as to how he would envision what they are asking to have done and what the cost would be, and that we get the data regarding the number of houses of the 82, or the correct number, whatever it is, and I trust that you're as right as you can be, that live in Charlton, that live in Dudley.
Do I have a second for discussion?
I'll second.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Fine. Well, before we do into the motion, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to add, no, last time we talked about sort of closing it to everybody that was a non-resident of the lake.
Question.
God bless somebody.
That was, I think, we thought was very restrictive. We're talking about gates and everything, but what is your new vision on, and this will help clarify at least my thinking, maybe Mr. Sullivan's, based on his comment. Who are the, what's the population of people you want to be able to access the lake? Is it Dudley, Charlton residents only? Is it lake residents only?
Whoever wants to come see the pond is more than welcome. We're just trying to limit those larger boats, because the biggest issue is the larger boats, A, can bring it in, and B, take what's already there because of the way they're coming and going in and out of that cove where all the weeds start. They drag it into the main pond. If you're already on the pond, you don't even go in that cove because it's all weeds. Nobody goes in there. If you're already on the pond, you stay out in the main pond. You don't come in here. So
That's a really good point.
So while the weeds are growing and they're at their largest state where they chop up the most is when all the traffic is coming in and out. If you're already on the lake, you don't even go in that cove because the weeds are they're so abundant and it's so thick, you don't want to go in there.
Yeah.
And to get into it, you got to cross a shallow. It's narrow. There are weeds everywhere. It's just there's nothing there to go in to see, which is why we don't like the early April and the late year, because the weeds are already down now. So if you're in there, well, come on in, do some fishing, have a great time. This is fantastic. But once those weeds get up and you're traveling through there, you're just chopping them up. See, if you're on the lake and you're a resident of the lake, you're already there.
You're already over there.
You're not going in that cove for anything.
Got it.
There's no reason to.
That just clicked for me when you said that. And this is, we're not limiting people, we're eliminating size of boat only. I just want to be
That's it.
clear for everybody.
Yeah, that's all we were talking
The
about.
only pushback, and I get your point, Mr. Through the chair, the only pushback I see is that if you say 25 horses or under, I'm just throwing it out there
I
for whatever,
understand.
and you have residents with 75 horses on there,
Well, there's a pushback.
then there's
I
an
understand.
issue.
Yeah. Well, and we're not
Still a motor
trying to limit a
truck.
motor size. Is what not. The only reason we do the gate, we're talking about the gate, and we discuss having it so just the smaller boats can come in. Smaller boats don't really do the damage a larger boat does. And if you're already on the lake, as I said, you don't go into the cove when the weeds are up. The smaller boats, you got your canoes, you got little, they're just in and out. You're not really creating as much havoc as you are if you're a larger boat. So like motor size isn't the issue, really.
A large boat isn't going to get powered by a 30 horsepower engine. It's
Anything
gonna be-
powered is
it's
gonna
gonna be-
chop up
It's going to be
It
40,
is.
50 or above.
You're correct.
Okay, Mr. Sullivan.
I guess, Ken, my question too would be, you talked about a couple weekends in April, a couple weekends in September. So we'll just say May 1st to September 1st, you want that gated, kayaks, canoes, john boats. So what if Ken buys a boat in July, lives on the lake? Does he have the right to open that gate to put his own boat in, or restricting other people? And what if Ken's brother's coming from Oxford with his boat and he wants to go on the lake for the day? We're gonna open
Yeah.
up the gate for,
The only thing that the gate would be unlocked for would be emergency issues. Let's just say your boat breaks down, there's no way to get it in or out. Make a phone call to either town official who has a key so you can get your boat out of the water. Back in, you can get through the weedy section without dropping your motor. You know, there are ways around things. But the normal person that's gonna come there fishing doesn't do that. They drop the boat.
They don't care.
I don't wanna
Well,
get
no,
out
they
there.
don't
They're just
care.
gonna fire it up
no, I
and run.
understand
That's
that.
what they're
See,
gonna do.
see where I'm getting at, though? We got a public
Yeah.
forum with public access.
A report the results from a meeting, Mr. Chairman, between Greg, Danny, and Ken. That meeting will come up with all of the questions you can imagine asking, because they know what it is that they have to do. And those are the kind of things that, we'll massage it once we see it.
Oh, yeah.
But let's get the report
All right.
directly from the
Okay,
horse's
we have
mouths.
a motion on the floor, and we have a second.
Can you read back the motion?
Oh, what was it?
Michelle's got it.
Yeah.
He's gonna watch the tape.
Basically, that
gonna watch the
the
tape.
town administrator meet with Dan, meet with Ken, give us a report, recommendations as to the best way to go, limiting motor size, what it would cost to install a gate that is functional, and coming up with a recommended percentage of the number of homeowners on the lake who would contribute before we would step forward. But the sidelight is that the data we want to know is total number of houses, from Charlton, total number from Dudley.
Okay, you got that,
And
Michelle?
then, yeah, and Ken can provide us with the exact number they're paid to the association.
Okay, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Hey,
Thinking about it, hold on.
Aye.
We're just getting a report, Paul, is what you want,
Yep.
right?
all we're getting is report.
Yep.
All right, aye.
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 Sully?
Yep.
Anyone oppose the motion? No, motion carries, unanimous.
Essentially, that tables the motion there until the report's done, and then when the report's done, I mean, Ken, it'll automatically come before the board as a tabled item.
What are you getting out of this
We
one?
meet in 2 weeks, so if you can fill it in between now and then, it'd be great, good for you.
Figure it out. Make it work.
Perfect.
Okay, item number E.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Dudley Grange, number 163. Parking waiver, request permission to park on both sides of Center Road on Thursday, June 15th, 2017, from 4 PM to 8
So
PM.
moved.
Second.
Chair, with
All in favor?
well, with the caveat,
Aye.
police chief signs off on it. Chief,
Always the case.
Are we doing both sides?
right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item F, Town Hall, permission to close the Town Hall on Thursday, June 15th, 2017 at 4:30 PM so that employees can attend the Strawberry
So
Festival.
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number G, Carlinda Wood Fund, permission to use Carlinda Wood Fund in the amount of $560 to pay Harrington Memorial Hospital for health services in March, $274, and May, $286.
So moved.
Second.
Third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item H, weekly payroll and warrant signature. Signature from a member of the board.
You still need signatures, Michelle? Okay.
Did you bring him in? Are they in there?
We're up.
Up to date?
We're good?
Okay.
Okay, so that's an informational item.
No, we need a selectman to
So we do, in the past, I've signed the warrants, and the Department of Revenue requested a member of the board be appointed to come in and sign the weekly warrants. So
Peter
we
Fox.
need two members. It's presently the chairman and Mr. Fox. So the chairman will continue, but we need an additional member.
So, Mr. Chair,
Effective now?
are they available every Monday, or is it every Friday?
Effective as of
Or
the
they
date
come
of the
during the week?
election. Effective as of next week.
Just to clarify, when you say the chairman, you mean the position, not the person, correct?
That's right.
Those are
Yeah,
usually
right.
finished
That's right.
on Wednesdays.
So basically, we're looking at like
Once a week.
every Thursday.
Once a week.
Mr. Chairman, I'll sign it, the next issue, and then after we have the election to reorganize, we all can decide what to do
Okay,
then.
that's fair.
Perfect.
Not, I'll be happy to help with that.
Mr. Chair, make a motion that we appoint Paul Joseph as the signee until the next election.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item I, approve.
Greg, are there any transfers other than $1,000 from the selectmen stipends
That
to
would
the
be
park
That would
department?
be the only item, and we'll discuss any others at the next meeting.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that, since Peter Fox and I are both foregoing our stipend as selectmen, that the Board of Selectmen approve transferring $1,000 from the selectmen's stipend account to the Parks and Recreation Committee.
Do I have a second?
Second.
What's the matter, John?
Any
Oh,
discussion?
I didn't know this was all happening, otherwise I would have done the same.
Well, you can step
You can
up.
do it, if you want to do that, you can do it any time in the
Do it
future.
anytime.
Okay.
You can double it.
Oh,
Matches
no,
our
I
stipend.
don't, no, but if he's gonna give it to me, then I gotta pay taxes on it and all that stuff. I don't want
Oh, I see what he's saying if he takes his
You
income.
don't think we're worth
How much
$9
tax
a
you
week?
got? $500.
All in favor?
No, he's saying you can-
Aye.
You can void the check.
Aye.
Aye.
I think you might turn.
Jonathan said aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, if the treasurer has not sent out the checks yet, I know he has my stuff on file.
Not going to send checks out.
Well, sent out direct deposit.
Yes.
I know he has mine on file, he may or may not. I would like to donate my 500 to Steve Rogers, Veterans Agent, for purchase of flags, or whatever he sees fit.
Yeah,
What was that again? Donate to who?
Steve Rogers, the Veterans Agent,
Veterans Agent.
for flags or whatever he sees
So
fit.
we have to make a motion for that transfer.
So
Well,
moved.
if he sent it out already, I'm just gonna,
Michelle, can we confirm that he sent all that stuff out? Yeah.
I don't think he has. It has to be done by Monday.
Okay, yeah, can you,
Okay.
can we check with him first thing on that? And
just
then
tell him not to
maybe
do it.
even the direct deposits, right?
He can stop it, if he hasn't done it yet.
Okay,
And
item,
I'll decide where we'll put it once we do that. Okay.
item number 9, student representative's report.
Is he still here?
Jared?
Oh, I hear Jared.
There he is.
Hello, everyone. Good
He
evening.
came for the cake, who's he kidding?
The varsity baseball team finished off a difficult season with a win against Tantasco on Thursday, May 25th, 5-1. The team, unfortunately, did not advance to the district playoffs. The varsity softball team defeated Neshoba Regional High School in an upset on Saturday, June 3rd, 4-3. Sophomore Kaylee Fagan's solo home run in the 6th inning pushed the Rams over the Chieftains. The team will advance to the district semifinals against Doherty High School. The commencement ceremony of the class of 2017 took place at the DCU Center in Worcester on Sunday, June 4th. Student speakers included Senior Class President Jack Cedarberg, Valedictorian Matthew Spall, Salutatorian Joshua Martin Jaffe, and Student Council President Sally Cedarberg. Superintendent Greg Desto, Principal William Chaplin, and Chairman of the School Committee Pauline O'Coin also spoke. In the final weeks of the school year at Shepherd Hill, biology MCAS will be administered to all 10th grade students on Monday and Tuesday, June 5th and 6th at Shepherd Hill. Final exams will begin on Monday, June 12th and continue through Thursday, June 15th, and the last day of classes of the 2016-2017 school year will be Monday, June 19th.
June 18th?
June 19th.
19th, and he moved it?
June 18th is Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Jared.
Good
You're
job.
welcome.
Item 10, board member comments.
No.
Mr. Chair, I just want to thank, once again, the Veterans, Webster Dudley Veterans Council, Steve Rogers, our veteran agent, Paul Broder, Webster, another outstanding parade. The rain held off most of the day. Nice turnout from the folks along the parade route, from Village Cemetery to Common, and then back here, and nice turnout on the Main Street, East Main, South Main, all the way through the parade route. And although, although the person does not report to the Board of Selectmen, I was recently informed that Mr. Pear is leaving as principal of the middle school, effective the end of the year. If you have met Mr. Pear or have children that have been in school since Mr. Pear has been involved, it goes without saying that he has an unmatched passion towards education and the people of Dudley and Charlton. And I think on behalf of the board, I would like to have Chairman Ruda send him a letter that maybe we all can sign, but if only he signs on our behalf, that's fine, from the board, thanking him for his dedication to the students of Dudley Middle School, and wish him well on his future endeavors.
Be happy to.
Great idea.
Thank you. John?
I think I'm good, Peter. I mean, I said everything I wanted to say to you.
Jonathan?
All set, thank you.
Paul?
Thank you.
Okay, I would just like to say that it's been an absolute honor to work with you guys, and that I'm humbled for what took place tonight, and greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. You, Peter. Department
Department Communications? All set?
Mr. Chairman, I move we
Easy couple
adjourn.
weeks.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Easy couple weeks for the department head.